In the cold darkness of space, far from any star or planet, a fleet of massive ships floated silently. These were not ordinary ships. They carried thousands of humans, frozen in time inside cryogenic pods. For centuries, they had been asleep, drifting through the endless void. Their mission was simple yet desperate: to survive until the day came when they could return and reclaim their home. Captain Ryan Hayes woke up first. His eyes fluttered open as the icy grip of stasis slowly released him. The pod's lid hissed open, and cool air rushed in, making him shiver. He blinked several times, trying to adjust to the dim light of the medical bay. Around him, rows of identical pods lined the walls, each containing a person still locked in deep sleep. The silence was overwhelming, broken only by the faint hum of machinery. Ryan sat up slowly, feeling stiff and disoriented. He looked around, searching for signs of life. A soft beep caught his attention. Turning his head, he saw Lieutenant Emily Dawson stirring in her pod nearby. Her pod opened moments later, and she emerged, rubbing her temples. What happened?" she asked groggily. "I don't know," Ryan replied, his voice hoarse. "But we need to figure it out." The two of them moved cautiously through the ship, checking consoles and monitors. Everything seemed functional, but there were no messages, no updates, nothing to explain why they had awakened. Ryan tapped on a screen, bringing up diagnostics. The ship's AI spoke in a calm, mechanical tone. "All systems operational. Current date, 2847. Estimated time in stasis, 312 years. Emily gasped. 300 years. That can't be right. "It is," Ryan said grimly. "We've been asleep longer than anyone planned." They decided to wake more crew members to help assess the situation. One by one, the pods began to open, releasing people who looked confused and frightened. Some cried, others shouted questions, but most just stared blankly, overwhelmed by the realization that centuries had passed while they slept. As the crew gathered in the main hall, Ryan addressed them. "Listen up," he began, raising his voice to be heard over the murmurs. "We don't know why we've woken up, but we need to stay calm and work together. Our priority is to check the rest of the fleet and see if everyone else is okay." The mood was tense as teams spread out across the ship. Communication arrays were activated, sending signals to the other vessels in the fleet. Slowly, responses trickled in. Most ships reported similar awakenings, though some pods had failed, leaving their occupants dead. It was a sobering reminder of the risks involved in such a long journey. Back in the command center, Emily worked tirelessly alongside Ryan. She pulled up maps of nearby star systems, trying to find clues about Earth's current state. "There's something here," she said suddenly, pointing at a blinking dot on the screen. "A signal. Weak, but it's coming from Earth." Ryan leaned closer, his heart pounding. Could it be true? Was Earth still out there, waiting for them? Or was this just another mystery they would have to solve? For now, answers remained elusive. But one thing was certain: humanity's long sleep was over, and whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The signal from Earth was faint, almost like a whisper in the vast emptiness of space. Ryan and Emily stared at the blinking dot on the screen, their minds racing with questions. Was it a distress call? A message left behind by survivors? Or perhaps something else entirely? The uncertainty gnawed at them, but they knew one thing for sure: they had to investigate. As word spread among the crew about the mysterious signal, excitement mixed with fear. Many of the awakened humans struggled to process the reality that 3 centuries had passed while they slept. Some clung to hope, believing Earth would welcome them back with open arms. Others were more skeptical, fearing the worst, that their home world might be unrecognizable or even hostile. Ryan called a meeting with his senior officers to discuss their next steps. "We can't jump to conclusions," he said firmly, addressing the group gathered in the briefing room. "But we also can't ignore this signal. It's our best lead so far." Emily nodded in agreement. "Even if it's weak, it's coming from Earth. That means someone, or something, is still there. One of the officers, a grizzled engineer named Daniel, raised his hand hesitantly. What if it's a trap? We don't know what's out there anymore. For all we know, the galaxy could have changed completely while we were asleep. Ryan acknowledged the concern. You're right, Daniel. We need to proceed carefully. But staying here isn't an option either. If Earth is sending us a message, we owe it to ourselves, and to humanity, to find out why. With the decision made, the fleet prepared to set course for Earth. The journey would take weeks, giving everyone time to adjust to their new reality. As the ships moved through the void, the crew worked tirelessly to gather information about the galaxy they now found themselves in. What they discovered shocked them. According to the ship's eye, which had been quietly gathering data during their long sleep, the Krylos Consortium, the alien empire that had once waged war against humanity, was no longer a threat. Centuries of infighting and resource depletion had led to its collapse. In its place, smaller factions had risen, each vying for control of the remnants of the Krylos' former territories. But the A's report didn't stop there. It warned of a new power emerging in the galaxy, a shadowy organization known only as the Nexus. Little was known about them, except that they wielded advanced technology scavenged from ancient ruins. Rumors suggested they ruled through fear, enslaving weaker factions and hoarding knowledge that could alter the course of history. The news unsettled Ryan. He had hoped to return to a galaxy where humanity might rebuild without interference. Instead, it seemed the universe had grown even more dangerous in their absence. Still, he refused to let doubt cloud his judgment. They had come too far to turn back now. During the voyage, Samantha Brooks, one of the few civilians aboard the Eclipse, approached Ryan and Emily. She was a scientist before the fleet entered stasis, and her sharp mind had earned her respect among the crew. "I've been studying the signal," she said, holding up a tablet. "It's not just random noise. There's a pattern to it, almost like a code." Emily leaned closer, intrigued. "Can you decode it?" Samantha hesitated. "Maybe, but I'll need help. And time." Ryan nodded. "Do whatever you need to. This could be our key to understanding what happened to Earth." As the days passed, the fleet drew closer to its destination. Morale remained fragile, with some crew members growing restless and others retreating into silence. Despite the challenges, Ryan reminded himself why they had embarked on this mission in the first place: to give humanity a second chance. Whatever awaited them at Earth, they would face it together. And so, the fleet sailed onward, guided by a faint glimmer of hope cutting through the darkness of an unfamiliar galaxy. As the fleet approached a dense nebula on their way to Earth, strange readings began to appear on the ship's sensors. Lieutenant Emily Dawson frowned as she studied the data streaming across her console. "Captain," she said, turning to Ryan, "there's something out there. It's not natural." Ryan stepped closer, his eyes narrowing at the screen. The nebula was supposed to be empty, just clouds of gas and dust swirling in the vacuum of space. But now, faint energy signatures flickered within the haze. "Could it be debris?" he asked. Emily shook her head. "No, this is too organized. Look here." She pointed to a cluster of signals moving in formation. "Whatever it is, it's artificial." The crew grew tense as the ship slowed down, scanning the area for more details. Reality. Variety Part 4 of the story, in simple and basic English, without eadings or capitals edcntncs. Use third-person style, and keep it NJJ for READRs. Make sure to stay consistent with the characters and plotdevelopment from pure EVIOS parts. AM for 450 words. Ryan made the call to send a small reconnaissance team into the nebula. Among them was Jake Monroe, a skilled pilot known for his quick reflexes and calm under pressure. As Jake guided his shuttle toward the source of the signals, the rest of the fleet waited anxiously. Inside the nebula, visibility dropped drastically. The swirling gases blocked most of their instruments, forcing the team to rely on manual navigation. Just when they thought they might turn back empty-handed, a shape emerged from the mist. A derelict ship, battered and scared, but still intact. "Looks like someone's been living here," Jake muttered into his communicator as the team docked with the vessel. The airlock hissed open, revealing a dark corridor littered with scraps of metal and broken equipment. Carefully, they moved inside, weapons drawn. It didn't take long to find signs of life. In a dimly lit chamber, they discovered a group of survivors huddled together. They looked malnourished and wary, their eyes darting between the newcomers. One of them, a woman with short brown hair and sharp features, stepped forward cautiously. "Who are you?" she demanded. Jake lowered his weapon slightly. "We're from the human fleet. We mean no harm." The woman studied him for a moment before relaxing her stance. "My name is Samantha Brooks," she said. "We've been stranded here for years." Samantha explained that her group had once been part of a research mission exploring ancient alien ruins. When the Krylos collapsed, their funding dried up, leaving them abandoned in deep space. Over time, they scavenged what they could to survive, piecing together information about the galaxy's shifting power dynamics. When Ryan and Emily arrived aboard the derelict ship after hearing Jake's report, Samantha wasted no time sharing critical news. "You should know this. The Nexus controls everything now," she warned. "They use old technology to dominate weaker factions. If they catch wind of your fleet, they won't hesitate to destroy you." Her words sent a chill through the room. Ryan exchanged a glance with Emily, who looked equally troubled. "Do you have any idea how we can avoid them?" he asked. Samantha hesitated. "There's one thing. A device, an artifact capable of manipulating time itself. It's hidden on a remote planet guarded by Nexus forces. If you can get to it, you might stand a chance." Ryan considered her words carefully. The idea of such a powerful tool both intrigued and unnerved him. Still, he couldn't ignore the potential advantage it offered. "Take us to this planet," he finally said. Samantha agreed, though her expression remained guarded. Back on the Eclipse, opinions were divided. Some crew members trusted her knowledge, seeing her as a valuable ally. Others viewed her with suspicion, questioning her motives. Emily voiced her concerns privately to Ryan. "She knows too much," Emily said. "What if she's leading us into a trap?" Ryan sighed. "I don't like it either, but we don't have many options. For now, we'll keep an eye on her." With Samantha aboard, the fleet adjusted its course toward the mysterious planet. As they sailed deeper into unknown territory, the weight of their mission pressed heavily on everyone. The promise of salvation, or doom, loomed ahead, shrouded in uncertainty. The journey to the remote planet was long and tense. The crew of the Eclipse spent their days preparing for whatever lay ahead, while Samantha Brooks shared what little she knew about the Nexus and the artifact. She described it as a crystalline sphere, pulsating with an otherworldly energy. According to legend, it had been created by an ancient civilization capable of bending time itself. Whoever controlled the device could rewrite history, or erase it entirely. Ryan listened intently, but couldn't shake the feeling that Samantha was holding something back. Her answers were always careful, calculated, as if she were choosing her words to avoid revealing too much. Still, he needed her expertise. Without it, they might never find the artifact, or survive the dangers guarding it. As the fleet approached the planet, the sensors picked up heavy activity in orbit. Dozens of ships patrolled the area, their designs sleek and menacing. "Those are Nexus vessels," Samantha said, pointing at the readings on the screen. "They're not going to let us land without a fight." Ryan nodded grimly. "Then we'll have to be smarter than them." He turned to Emily. "Prepare a small strike team. We'll go in fast and quiet, avoiding direct confrontation if we can." Emily quickly assembled a group of skilled crew members, including Jake Monroe, who volunteered despite his earlier close call. They loaded into a cloaked shuttle, slipping past the Nexus patrols undetected. The descent through the atmosphere was rough, jolting them violently as they navigated thick storm clouds. When they finally touched down, the landscape before them was bleak and desolate, rocky terrain stretching endlessly under a pale red sky. Samantha led the way, guiding them toward a massive structure rising from the ground like a jagged scar. It looked ancient, its surface covered in strange symbols glowing faintly in the dim light. "This is it," she whispered. "The vault containing the artifact is inside." The team moved cautiously, weapons ready. The air was cold and still, the silence pressing down on them. As they entered the structure, the walls seemed to hum with energy, sending shivers down their spines. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. Finally, they reached a large chamber at the heart of the building. In the center stood a pedestal, and atop it rested the artifact, a shimmering sphere that pulsed rhythmically, casting eerie shadows across the room. Ryan stepped forward, his eyes fixed on the object. "Is this really it?" he asked, glancing at Samantha. She nodded. "That's the device. But be careful, it's not just a tool. It's alive, in a way. You can feel its power if you get too close." Before Ryan could respond, alarms blared throughout the chamber. Heavy footsteps echoed in the distance as mechanized drones poured into the room, their glowing eyes locking onto the intruders. "We've got company," Jake shouted, raising his weapon. The team sprang into action, firing at the drones as they advanced. The battle was chaotic, sparks flying as bullets ricocheted off metal bodies. One by one, the machines fell, but more kept coming. Amid the chaos, Samantha slipped away unnoticed, heading straight for the artifact. Emily spotted her just in time. "Ryan, she's going for the sphere." Ryan spun around, watching as Samantha grabbed the artifact. For a brief moment, the room lit up with blinding light, and Samantha froze, her expression unreadable. Then, with surprising speed, she turned and tried to flee. But Emily was faster. She tackled Samantha to the ground, wresting the sphere from her grasp. "What are you doing?" Emily demanded, her voice sharp with anger. Samantha struggled against her grip, her face twisted with frustration. "You don't understand. The Nexus sent me here to retrieve it. If I fail, they'll kill everyone I care about." Ryan stepped closer, his tone firm but calm. "If the Nexus gets this, they'll destroy everything. Is that what you want?" Samantha hesitated, tears welling up in her eyes. Finally, she shook her head. "No, but I didn't have a choice." The sound of approaching drones forced them to act quickly. Ryan took the artifact from Emily and secured it in a containment unit. "Let's move," he ordered. "We're running out of time." With the artifact in hand, the team fought their way back to the shuttle, narrowly escaping the Nexus forces. As they lifted off the planet, Ryan stared at the glowing sphere, wondering what secrets it held, and whether using it would save humanity or doom them all. Back aboard the Eclipse, tensions ran high. The artifact was safely stored in a secure chamber, but its presence sparked heated debates among the crew. Some saw it as a miracle, a chance to undo centuries of war and suffering. Others viewed it as a dangerous gamble, warning that tampering with time could unravel the fabric of reality itself. Ryan stood in the command center, staring at the glowing sphere through a reinforced glass window. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. If he made the wrong choice, it could cost not only their lives but the future of humanity. Emily joined him moments later, her expression troubled. "What are you thinking?" she asked softly. "I'm thinking about what's at stake," Ryan replied. "If we use this thing, we might be able to fix everything. The wars, the losses, all of it. But there's no guarantee it won't make things worse." Emily nodded slowly. "And if we don't use it, what then? We'll always wonder if we missed our chance." Before they could delve deeper into the discussion, an alarm blared throughout the ship. The crew scrambled to their stations as reports flooded in. Commander Lisa Grant, one of Ryan's senior officers, had seized control of 3 smaller vessels in the fleet. Her voice crackled over the intercom, firm and unyielding. "This ends now, Ryan. I won't let you risk everyone's lives for some reckless experiment. Set course for the nearest habitable moon, or face the consequences." Ryan clenched his fists, anger and frustration boiling inside him. He had known Lisa was skeptical of the mission, but he never expected outright mutiny. "She's trying to split us apart," he muttered to Emily. "We can't afford division, not now." The situation grew dire as Lisa's ships moved into position, blocking the Eclipse's path. A tense standoff ensued, with both sides exchanging warnings over the comms. Ryan tried reasoning with Lisa, appealing to her sense of duty. "We didn't wake up after 3 centuries just to give up," he argued. "If we settle here, we're abandoning Earth and everything we fought for." But Lisa wasn't swayed. "Earth is gone, Ryan," she shot back. "It's been centuries. Whatever's left isn't worth throwing away our lives for. This artifact is too dangerous. You're gambling with the fate of the entire fleet." As the argument dragged on, Samantha quietly approached Ryan and Emily. Her earlier betrayal still lingered in the air, but she seemed determined to make amends. "I know where Lisa's coming from," she admitted, "but she's wrong. If you let her take those ships, she'll weaken us beyond repair. The Nexus will pick us off one by one." Ryan glanced at her, weighing her words. "What do you suggest?" Samantha hesitated before answering. "You need to act decisively. Show them you're still in charge. If you don't, the whole fleet will fall apart." With no other options left, Ryan gave the order to disable Lisa's ships without causing casualties. Jake Monroe led a team of pilots in a daring maneuver, using electromagnetic pulses to knock out the engines of the rebellious vessels. It was a risky move, but it worked. Within minutes, Lisa's forces were immobilized, leaving her with no choice but to stand down. When Ryan confronted Lisa aboard her flagship, she looked defeated but defiant. "You think you're doing the right thing," she said bitterly. "But mark my words, this artifact will destroy us all." Ryan met her gaze steadily. "Maybe, but I'd rather take that risk than give up without a fight." Back on the Eclipse, the crew worked to repair the damage caused by the mutiny. Though the immediate threat had been neutralized, the incident left deep scars. Trust within the fleet was fragile, and Ryan knew they couldn't afford further division. Still, he refused to let doubt cloud his resolve. They had come too far to turn back now. As he stared at the artifact once more, Ryan felt a renewed determination. Whatever power it held, they would use it wisely, or not at all. The galaxy's fate rested in their hands, and failure was not an option. The fleet moved cautiously through space, the weight of recent events hanging over everyone like a dark cloud. The mutiny led by Lisa Grant had left deep divisions among the crew, and though Ryan had regained control, trust was fragile. Conversations in the corridors were hushed, and many avoided eye contact, unsure of who to believe or follow. In the command center, Ryan and Emily pored over data about the artifact. They knew they couldn't delay their decision any longer. The longer they waited, the more time the Nexus had to track them down. Samantha sat nearby, her face pale but determined. She had proven herself somewhat after the mutiny, offering insights into the artifact's mechanics, but her earlier betrayal still lingered in the minds of the crew. "This thing is dangerous," Emily said, breaking the silence. "We don't fully understand how it works. What if we trigger something we can't undo?" Ryan rubbed his temples, feeling the strain of leadership. "I know the risks, but we don't have another option. If we don't use it, the Nexus will keep growing stronger. We'll lose our chance to stop them, and maybe humanity's last chance to rebuild." Samantha leaned forward, her voice steady. "You're right about one thing. The Nexus won't stop until they control everything. But you're wrong about using the artifact to rewrite history. That's too unpredictable. Instead, you should focus on weakening them now. Use the device to disrupt their power base." Ryan frowned. How do you suggest we do that? The artifact doesn't just manipulate time. It manipulates energy fields too, she explained. If you target their central hub, you could disable their systems long enough for us to escape and regroup. Emily looked skeptical. And what happens if it backfires? We could end up destroying ourselves, or worse, handing them even more power. Samantha hesitated, then added softly, "There's always risk, but doing nothing guarantees failure." After hours of debate, Ryan made his decision. He called a meeting with the senior officers, addressing them with calm authority. "We're going to activate the artifact, but not to erase the past. We'll use it to strike at the Nexus directly. This isn't about rewriting history. It's about creating a future where we can survive." The room fell silent as the crew absorbed his words. Some nodded in agreement, while others exchanged uneasy glances. Despite their fears, they understood there was no turning back. Preparations began immediately. The artifact was carefully transported to the Eclipse's main engineering bay, where technicians worked around the clock to integrate it with the ship's systems. Samantha stayed close, guiding them through the process. Though her knowledge proved invaluable, her presence still stirred unease among the crew. As the final adjustments were made, Jake Monroe approached Ryan privately. "Captain," he said, his voice low, "are you sure about this?" Everyone's scared, not just of the artifact, but of what might happen next. Ryan placed a hand on Jake's shoulder. "I'm not sure of anything, Jake, but I know we can't run forever. If we want to protect what's left of humanity, we have to take a stand." Jake nodded reluctantly, his loyalty unwavering despite his doubts. The activation sequence began, filling the ship with a low hum that grew louder by the second. Lights flickered as energy surged through the artifact, its glow intensifying until it filled the entire bay. For a moment, everything seemed to freeze, the air thick with anticipation. Then, without warning, the ship shuddered violently. Alarms blared as readings spiked off the charts. Ryan grabbed hold of a railing, shouting orders to stabilize the system. "What's happening?" he demanded. Samantha's eyes widened in panic. "It's destabilizing. The energy field. It's too much." Before anyone could react, the artifact unleashed a burst of light so bright it blinded everyone in the room. When the glare faded, the ship was eerily quiet. The artifact lay dormant once more, its surface dull and lifeless. Ryan stared at it, his heart pounding. Whatever they had done, it was done. Now all they could do was wait and see if it had worked, or if they had sealed their own fate. When the light faded and the ship stabilized, the crew of the Eclipse was left in stunned silence. The artifact lay inert, its once pulsing glow now extinguished. Ryan stood frozen, his mind racing to process what had just happened. Had they succeeded, or had they triggered something far worse? Emily broke the silence first. "Is it over?" she asked, her voice trembling. Ryan didn't answer immediately. He turned to Samantha, who looked pale and shaken. "What did we just do?" he demanded. Samantha hesitated, her eyes darting between the artifact and the monitors displaying erratic readings. "I don't know," she admitted. "The energy surge, it wasn't supposed to happen like that. Something went wrong." Wrong or not, the fleet soon realized the activation had caused changes, massive ones. As the ships exited the nebula where they had performed the experiment, they were met with a galaxy that felt different. Stars seemed brighter, and their positions had shifted slightly. Even more startling, scans revealed that entire regions controlled by the Nexus were eerily quiet. Communication hubs and military outposts that had been teeming with activity were now dark and abandoned. "It worked," Emily whispered, awe creeping into her voice. "We hit them. Their systems are down." But Ryan wasn't ready to celebrate. If this is real, then why does it feel so incomplete? He glanced at the artifact again, its lifeless surface offering no answers. Deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that they had only scratched the surface of what the device was capable of. and that its full effects might still be unfolding. As the fleet moved cautiously through Nexus territory, they encountered signs of chaos. Abandoned ships drifted aimlessly, their crews nowhere to be found. On one planet, they discovered a Nexus stronghold completely deserted, its advanced technology reduced to scrap. It was as if the artifact had unraveled the very foundation of the Nexus's power, leaving behind only confusion and ruin. Despite these victories, the mood aboard the Eclipse remained tense. Many crew members questioned whether they had made things better or worse. Some whispered about unintended consequences, fearing the artifact might have altered more than just the Nexus. What if Earth itself had changed? What if humanity's home was no longer recognizable? Samantha grew quieter as the days passed, retreating into herself. When Ryan finally confronted her, she confessed her deepest fear. The artifact doesn't just disrupt systems, it warps reality. We may have weakened the Nexus, but we also disrupted the flow of time and space. I don't know how far-reaching the effects will be. Her words sent a chill through Ryan. Are you saying we've done permanent damage? I'm saying I don't know, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. And neither do you. Determined to find answers, Ryan ordered the fleet to resume their course toward Earth. They needed to see for themselves what awaited them. But as they drew closer, strange anomalies began appearing in their path. Distorted signals, gravitational fluctuations, and patches of empty space where stars should have been. It was as though the galaxy itself was healing from some invisible wound, reshaping itself in unpredictable ways. Back on the bridge, Emily studied the data streaming in. Something big is happening, she said. It's like the universe is rewriting itself around us. Ryan clenched his fists, frustration mixing with determination. Whatever the artifact had unleashed, they couldn't turn back now. Humanity's fate rested on what they would find when they reached Earth, and whether they could adapt to a world forever changed by their actions. As the fleet sailed onward, the crew braced themselves for the unknown. The artifact had given them a chance to fight back, but at what cost? Only time would tell if they had saved humanity, or doomed it to an uncertain future. The fleet finally reached Earth's orbit, but what they found was nothing like they had expected. The planet below gleamed with vibrant blues and greens, its atmosphere clear and unblemished. Gone were the scars of war, no craters from orbital bombardments, no smog choking the skies. It looked pristine, almost untouched. Ryan stood on the bridge of the Eclipse, staring at the view screen in disbelief. This can't be Earth, he muttered under his breath. It's too perfect. Emily stepped closer, her eyes wide with wonder. Could the artifact have done this? Rewound time somehow? Samantha shook her head, her expression grim. Not rewound. Altered. The device doesn't erase events, it reshapes them. Whatever happened here, it's a new version of Earth. As the fleet scanned the planet, they detected signs of human activity. Cities sprawled across continents, bustling with life. Communication signals filled the airwaves, broadcasting messages of peace and progress. Humanity hadn't just survived, it had thrived. But something felt off. The transmission spoke of unity and cooperation, concepts Ryan barely recognized from his own time. There were no mentions of conflict or struggle, no traces of the wars that had once torn Earth apart. It was as if history itself had been rewritten to erase humanity's darkest chapters. Ryan ordered a shuttle to descend to the surface, taking Emily and Samantha with him. As they landed near one of the cities, they were greeted by crowds of people who looked curious but not fearful. A man approached them, smiling warmly. "Welcome back," he said. "We've been expecting you." "Expecting us?" Ryan asked, confused. "How do you know about us?" The man gestured toward the sky. "Your ships appeared on our sensors weeks ago. We thought you were explorers returning from deep space, but now we see you're something more." Over the next few hours, Ryan and his team learned the truth. In this new timeline, humanity had never faced the Krylos Consortium or any major external threat. Without the pressure of alien invasions, nations had turned inward, focusing on solving their own problems. Wars became rare, resources were shared, and technology advanced rapidly. Earth had become a paradise, united under a single global government. At first, the crew of the Eclipse was overwhelmed with relief. Their mission, to save humanity, had seemingly succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. But as the initial excitement faded, doubts began to creep in. Was this truly Earth, or was it some kind of illusion created by the artifact? Samantha voiced these concerns during a private meeting back aboard the Eclipse. "This isn't natural," she insisted. "The artifact didn't just change history, it replaced it. Everything we knew is gone. Our families, our struggles, all of it has been erased." Ryan listened silently, his mind heavy with conflicting emotions. Part of him wanted to believe this new Earth was real, that humanity had been given a fresh start. But another part, a deeper, more instinctive part, felt uneasy. If everything they had fought for no longer existed, then what was the point of their sacrifice? Emily tried to offer reassurance. "Maybe this is exactly what we hoped for," she said gently. "A world where humanity could flourish without the pain of the past. Isn't that worth it?" Ryan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I don't know. All I know is that we can't go back. This is our reality now, whether we like it or not." As the crew debated their next steps, Ryan made a decision. They would stay long enough to ensure this new Earth was stable, but only temporarily. The fleet still had a purpose: to explore the stars, to carry the memory of their old world into the future. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. For now, though, Ryan allowed himself a moment of quiet reflection. Looking out at the glowing planet below, he felt a strange mix of hope and loss. Humanity had been given a second chance. But at what cost? Only time would tell if this new beginning was truly a gift, or a burden they would carry forever. Weeks passed as the crew of the Eclipse adjusted to their new reality. Earth was thriving, its people living in harmony and prosperity. For many aboard the fleet, it felt like a dream come true, a world without war, without suffering. But for Ryan, the weight of what they had lost lingered heavily. He often found himself staring at photos of his family stored in an old data pad, faces he barely remembered but still cherished. Those memories belonged to a timeline that no longer existed. Emily noticed his quiet struggles and tried to help where she could. "You did everything you could," she told him one evening as they stood on the observation deck, looking down at Earth's glowing surface. No one could have asked for more. Ryan nodded slowly, though her words didn't fully ease the ache inside him. "I just keep wondering if we made the right choice. Did we save humanity, or erase it?" Emily didn't have an answer. Instead, she changed the subject. "What happens next? Do we stay here or move on?" Ryan thought about it for a moment. Staying would mean integrating into this new society, leaving behind the mission they had dedicated centuries to. Moving on meant venturing into the unknown once again, carrying the burden of their past with them. Both options felt incomplete, but deep down, Ryan knew what he had to do. "We move on," he said finally. "This Earth doesn't need us anymore. Our job is done. But there's still so much out there. So many stars to explore, so many stories waiting to be told." His decision wasn't easy for everyone to accept. Many crew members had grown attached to the idea of settling on this peaceful planet. Some argued passionately to stay, while others reluctantly agreed with Ryan's reasoning. In the end, they voted, and the majority chose to continue their journey. Preparations began for the fleet's departure. Supplies were restocked, engines checked, and navigation systems updated. As they worked, Samantha approached Ryan privately. She looked nervous, twisting her hands as she spoke. "I want to stay," she admitted. "This is my chance to start over, to make things right." Ryan studied her for a moment before nodding. "You've earned that chance. Just promise me one thing. Don't forget where you came from." Samantha smiled faintly. "I won't." Thank you for everything." When the day of departure arrived, the fleet gathered in orbit above Earth. Ryan addressed the crew one last time. "We set out centuries ago, hoping to give humanity a second chance. Now, we've seen that dream realized. This Earth doesn't need us anymore, but the galaxy still does. We'll carry our mission forward, not as survivors, but as explorers. Together, we'll write the next chapter of humanity's story." The ships powered up, their engines humming softly as they prepared to leave Earth behind. Below them, the planet shimmered brightly, a beacon of hope and renewal. Above them stretched the infinite expanse of space, full of mysteries yet to uncover. As the fleet moved away, Emily joined Ryan on the bridge. "Do you think we'll ever find another place like this?" she asked quietly. Ryan shook his head. "Maybe not, but that's not why we're going. We're not searching for perfection. We're searching for purpose." With those words, the fleet jumped to faster than light speed, disappearing into the stars. Behind them, Earth faded into the distance, a reminder of what humanity could achieve when united. Ahead lay countless possibilities, each one shaped by the courage and determination of those who refused to give up, even when faced with the unknown. For Ryan and his crew, the journey was far from over. But for the first time in centuries, they sailed not out of desperation, but out of hope. And in that hope, they found strength enough to face whatever challenges awaited them among the stars. Years passed, and the fleet became a legend whispered among the stars. Tales of their journey spread across the galaxy, carried by traders, explorers, and settlers who admired their courage. Though no one aboard the Eclipse sought fame, they couldn't escape the legacy they had created, a symbol of humanity's resilience and determination to survive against all odds. Ryan eventually retired from command, passing the mantle to Emily, who proved herself a capable leader. He settled on a quiet moon colony at the edge of human space, where he spent his days tending to a small garden and watching the stars through an old telescope. The sight of Earth never left his mind, but he found peace knowing that humanity had been given a second chance, a future free from the scars of war. Emily, now captain of the Eclipse, continued to lead the fleet deeper into uncharted territory. Under her guidance, they discovered new worlds, established alliances with alien species, and shared knowledge that helped bridge gaps between civilizations. She often reflected on Ryan's final words before stepping down. "We're not searching for perfection. We're searching for purpose." Those words guided her every decision, reminding her that exploration was about more than conquest or survival. It was about connection. Samantha stayed on Earth, building a new life for herself in the thriving global society. At first, she struggled to adapt, haunted by memories of her past betrayals. But over time, she found solace in helping others, using her knowledge to advance scientific research and improve lives. She never forgot the crew of the Eclipse and the sacrifices they had made. In quiet moments, she would look up at the night sky, wondering where they were and what adventures awaited them. Back on Earth, humanity flourished in ways few could have imagined. Without the constant threat of war, people turned their focus inward, addressing issues like poverty, inequality, and environmental damage. Technology advanced rapidly, fueled by cooperation rather than competition. Cities grew taller, cleaner, and more sustainable, while efforts to colonize other planets expanded humanity's reach beyond its home world. Yet, even in this era of peace, reminders of the past remained. Museums dedicated to the fleet's journey became popular destinations, preserving artifacts and stories from the long sleep. Children learned about the bravery of those who risked everything to ensure humanity's survival. And though most people didn't fully understand the sacrifices made, they felt gratitude for the brighter future they inherited. On a clear evening, years after the fleet's departure, Ryan sat outside his modest home, gazing at the stars. His hair had turned gray, and his hands bore the marks of age, but his eyes still sparkled with wonder. Beside him lay an open journal, its pages filled with reflections on his life and the mission that defined it. He thought about those left behind, The friends who gave their lives, the families they never saw again, and felt a pang of sadness. But he also felt pride. They hadn't fought for recognition or glory. They had fought for hope. And in doing so, they had changed the course of history. As the first stars appeared in the twilight sky, Ryan smiled faintly. Somewhere out there, the eclipse sailed onward, carrying the spirit of humanity into the unknown. Their story wasn't just one of survival. It was a testament to the strength of unity, the power of perseverance, and the endless possibilities waiting among the stars. And though the galaxy had changed, one truth remained constant. Humanity's greatest victories were not won through weapons or technology, but through the unwavering belief that together they could overcome anything. That belief shone brightly, a beacon guiding them toward a brighter tomorrow.